What's good, anime enthusiasts? This is definitely not the second time I'm trying to do this intro with JD because I did not refresh court the first time. But anyway, hey, how you guys doing? We are at the 1/3 point for Mushoku Tensei. This is a good stopping point for a 24 episode anime, especially if we're watching multiple episodes. And especially what happens after episode 8. It feels like a good stopping point to check in, see how we're doing. Right now, for me, episode 8, my favorite so far. A lot of revelations, a lot of things we get to see outside of Rudeus' bubble. And so far, I like the anime, and I'll talk more about it later on. But I have something for the pervertedness that happens, all of the borderline and line crossing hentai ecchi stuff that happens. And while it still happens, I've come to a understanding of things, and I'll elaborate on that more later. But JD, how you doing?
Doing pretty good, Soren. Um, yeah, I will say I'm developing a begrudging love. Not so begrudging anymore. I think I just outright like it, and I'm developing a tolerance for these more perverted moments. Episode 7, episode 8, they definitely give us a lot of that like world building crunch. It really feels like a turning point for both me and the narrative at the same time. I'm having a great time.
Hey, title drop for episode 8, Turning Point.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Gotta plug it in.
But let's get into it, starting with episode 7. What lies beyond effort? Yet another episode that we're focusing on Eris. And after that, we get to a little bit of a tease of what will happen in episode 8. So, what happens to Eris in episode 7? She has to dance. But before even that, we get a little bit of detail that's happening. The beginning animation is cool between Ghislaine and Eris, where Eris, they're really showing off that Eris is like the front line fighter type of character that foreshadows what she'll be able to do later on when she grows up and possibly adventures around Rudeus. She is a good fighter. She's getting to be advanced ranking sword god style. It's cool. But also at the same time, we see that Hilda, Eris' mom, still disapproves of Rudeus. Later on after the intro, old lady comes up to Rudeus in his room and says, "Hey, I want some more class time with Eris." And what's the reason why? Well, Eris's 10th birthday is coming up, and they're going to have a grand party for it. And because Eris is a noble, and there's going to be a lot of people there, she's expected to dance, and dance well, as to not bring shame to her family. So, Rudeus agrees, and he gets more free time. What does he do with that free time? He starts learning other languages. Cool. He also sends a letter to Roxy about his progress in learning another language, and he kind of needs help with the demon god language. So, how's Eris doing in her dancing? Well, she's having a difficult time, and she just runs off, as per usual, to her old antics. And the lady says she's going to become a joke, a laughing stock, if she fails at dancing. So Rudeus is like, alright, let me step in. Goes find Eris chilling on the haystack, starts talking to her about it. And as he's talking to her, he starts to feel as she feels he sees himself, his old self, in her. As in, he doesn't want to do anything. If it's too difficult, why bother? He gets to an understanding with her, becomes level, becomes grounded. And he says, "Hey, I'll help you." Eris is like, cool. So we get a montage of them doing dance practice and failing. Rudeus learning languages. He also made a Roxy figure and he sold it. And he gets a care package and a letter from Roxy. Roxy says she's doing fine. She sends a book, which is like a good dictionary helpful for Rudeus to learn the demon god language. And we also found out that the prince bought the Roxy figurine. One last practice for Eris, and it's time for her birthday. Birthday happens, party goes on, it's time for the dance. Eris takes up the first and only partner that she got from one of the NPCs. She fails by rushing, and upon hearing the descent and all of the NPCs doubting her and everything, Rudeus steps forward, dances with Eris. It's a little bit of a struggle, but with a small trick and a guidance that fits Eris's abilities and knowledge, she succeeds, impressing everyone. While it's great for Eris, it's also kind of bad for Rudeus because he's starting to draw attention. And while Philip tells him that, he's like, you know what, a little sly because it's Eris's birthday. And all the girls start to flock to Rudeus. After the party, Rudeus gives Eris and Ghislaine their wands for being under his teachings, for learning magic. Ghislaine gives Eris a ring passed down from her people. And the episode ends with Rudeus going up a tower, finding Saros finishing up some business with a Beast Girl mage. And they both look to what looks like a small orb in the sky. And it looks ominous, but it's actually really big. And that is the episode. So for me, overall, I just enjoy seeing Eris grow this whole entire time. Like, ever since she showed up in episode 4, this has been like the Eris growing arc, like growing her into a very like likable character. Yes, she has a lot of issues, like anger issues, and she doesn't like want to learn boring things. She just wants the excitement. She wants to adventure, and that's why she does well with Ghislaine and fighting, and that's why she's terrible at everything else. But that's just to her character, and probably to the like how she emulates her father well, that abrasive, aggressive attitude. Like, she's very well fit to be a warrior type rather than a studious or magical type.
No, you can definitely feel that just like seeing her in like her environment. I believe the only other like noble woman of note is her mother, right? And you know, when you compare Matilda to Ghislaine and you see Eris, of course Eris wants to be more like Ghislaine. She's cool, right? She's living the life, right? So it's like I can definitely see how Eris would sort of form into her current self and why she'd be sort of apathetic to the more noble-centric, almost peacockery of nobility that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel when she asked, what was the word? Why do I have to do things I'm bad at?
I ain't gonna lie to you. Well, I felt a small bit of connection to that fact because I didn't used to not like. No, I did like not doing things that I don't want to do, or things that I know that I'm bad at. I just don't want to. And that's more because I don't do the things at all, and I'm forced to do something and I know that I'm terrible at it and I can't make heads or tails of it within the first few times, and then as it goes on I'm still like bad at it and people telling me that I'm bad at it. I mean, it's like, it's demeaning, it's demoralizing, I don't want to do it anymore. Why should I try? But here comes Rudeus being like, hey, always the same way. And then the way he grounds her is like, hey, even like Eris says, well, you can do everything. And Rudeus is like, no, I can't do everything. I'm learning all these languages, and there's one language that I'm trying to learn and I can't do anything about it. But the feeling that I get when I succeed after trying so many times after something I'm bad at it feels so good. Some of that I can relate to, because in past me, if I'm doing something that I don't like and I'm doing something that's not productive to me, I'm just gonna give up and just drop it then and there. And that's sort of also related to like a little bit of my perfectionism. So if something isn't to my standard of liking when I start something, I will immediately drop it afterwards the moment I see like a few cracks in the system.
No, definitely. I deeply empathized with Eris there, especially when it's like something that I'm both either not going to be using or don't plan on using a lot, or if it's something where it's like, oh, this is for somebody else. I'm learning this skill for somebody else. This isn't really for me, right? And this section really did make me wonder, like, if I had watched more isekais growing up, would I have tried way harder on everything? Which isn't to say that I didn't try hard on, like, you know, school or like sports or anything like that, but would I have like given it the extra effort, seeing like a fictional character put so much effort towards something they were also really bad at, right?
You know, it's an interesting lesson that isekais kind of secretly tell people, is that these characters are going to another world. They have a second chance at things. and things that they were bad at in the real world, they can be good at in this other world, and they can try again. And once you see them try again and succeed at it, it has that may have that effect. You know, be like, hey, they tried again, they still failed, but they succeeded. You, young person, you can still try again and succeed like them, like your favorite MC, like your favorite character. Why not give it a shot again?
Would have loved it. Oh my gosh.
The only other thing that really matters in this is the fact they've been hinting at this for so long, ever since Rudeus has came into the Boris family, is that he should be keeping his head down this whole entire time. And it'll really come to a head in episode 8, but I just want to highlight this. I'll highlight this a little bit now, and I'll expand on it more when we get to episode 8. The foreshadowing in Mushoku Tensei is really good because they act on it every single time, whether it be in the next episode or episodes later, of what they say sometime before. And I like that. It's foreshadowing with intent and not foreshadowing for the sake of drumming up hype and not worrying about it at all.
No, definitely. It's a must to have that sort of immediate feedback. I know we get the explanation after a time skip, but just hearing Philip reiterate to Rudeus, like, hey, please don't make like a big scene or do anything, but still giving him a pass and letting him like have whatever little woman he wants in his bed that night really does drill into you that there is a world behind this, right? And not just cute slice of life or fantasy slice of life.
Oh yeah, also I feel like this is really gonna come up every single time that we see Roxy and the prince. This prince character, he has to have a role, because when Rudeus sold his figurine to make some money, how it got to the prince is another thing. But I have a feeling that when the prince knows who made that figure and sees the relationship between Roxy and Rudeus be that so deep, he might do something. I'm thinking he might do something.
Wait, yo, that's a mythic read. I didn't even think about that. I thought the prince was just here to get beat up the whole time, but given what we know about the foreshadowing now, oh dear.
I told you, everything that they're doing and showing happens for a reason. And if we're seeing this prince a lot, it has to matter at some point, rather than just like cat and father, a comic relief kind of thing. But anyway, yeah.
Oh god.
Oh, wait, you got something?
No, we know maybe they go to magic school together or something like that. Rudeus, the prince, Sylphie, maybe they meet at magic school. That's all I can think of.
Could be. But anyway, episode 8, my favorite episode, Turning Point 1. And as aptly put, this is a really impressive turning point for the anime itself, for what happens. So the orb thing in the sky, we don't know much about it in the beginning, but it's there afterwards. There's a lot of movement in the estate as people are moving around, they're gathering things, and they're being hush-hush, they're being quiet. Now, what's going on? Well, the Boris family, they're attempting to throw a surprise 10th birthday party for Rudeus. And you're like, okay, cool. Unfortunately, there's a reason why they're being a little bit more hush-hush about it. The Boris family can't be too public about Rudeus. Why is that? Well, deeply, there is a heavy expansion on the Greyrat family, in that there are actually four main Greyrat families. And we know that Paul, Rudeus' father, is of the Nodos family. Well, no, I'm sorry, not head of the Nodos family. He is of the Nodos family. The actual head of the Nodos family is Paul's brother, who is scummier than Paul, and there's actually a secret operation to remove Paul's brother from the head of the family. Also, any other of the members, if they found out that Rudeus, a Nodos, was under the protection of the Boris family, they say it could invite unwelcome misunderstandings. So already there is political intrigue that has been brewing already before all of us could really understand why. And it wasn't because somebody else outside the Greyrat family like getting in on things. No, it was actually the Greyrat families themselves. They got some scheming and stuff going on. And guess what? There's even more to go on. But before that, Rudeus' birthday! Yay! Before that, funny scene with Ghislaine trying to hold Rudeus into his room, having a rock hard body in several places. We can talk about that later, I guess. I don't know. We'll see about that. But the party happens. Yay! Rudeus puts on an act as he cries. And then Saros is like going into a frenzy and he gets pulled away. They also said that they also invited Rudeus' family, but they couldn't come because of some monsters that they had to deal with. And then Eris' mom suddenly made a turn and like really wants Rudeus and like, accepts him. And then he gets pulled off. And then, she gets pulled off. And she even told, like, Rudeus, hey, marry Eris. I was like, okay, hold on. Something's weird going on. They gift Rudeus an awesome staff. We get a small little montage of the party. But now we get to know the true reason of why Hilda disliked Rudeus. Remember that Greyrat family nonsense? It gets worse. So Hilda actually had 2 other kids, boys. Eris had brothers, an older one and a younger one. But they were taken after birth by Philip's brother of the Boris family. All men of the Boris blood are raised in the head of the family's household. And that's tradition. So Hilda despised Rudeus, someone else's son of another Greyrat family, walking around her house, not really acting like he owned the place, but she perceived him as owning the place, while she had no sons of herself. And then after the party, she's like, oh my God, Rudeus, you're crying. I want you. Please marry Eris. Cool. Wow. It gets worse after that. Because Philip was like, hey, Rudeus, would you actually marry Eris and take over the Boris family? And Rudeus like, that's a funny proposition. And Philip was like, hey, all you gotta do is just, sit. I'll handle it. I'll start the coup. Rudeus is like, you know what? I think I need to go to bed. And that ends there. Afterwards, there's a bed scene with Eris as Rudeus fails to read the signal that Eris just wanted to make sure that Rudeus wasn't alone on his birthday party. And unfortunately, at the end of it, Eris is like, hey, you wait in 5 years when you become a proper adult, and then we can have funny business. Then there's a break. That is all Rudeus, Eris, and stuff. Now we get into the other things. Well, what's been happening while Rudeus has been teaching Eris and all that? Well, it wasn't a lie. Paul and the others are actually dealing with some monsters that have been acting up. We also get to see a much older Sophie interacting with the now who we'll call the Notice family. We get to see Lilia. We get to see Lilia's child Aisha. We get to see Zenith, and we get to see Zenith's child Norn. And from what we can already see so far, Aisha is happy-go-lucky, very an extrovert, and then Norn is the introvert crybaby. But ominous clouds are brewing in the sky. We also get to see Roxy for a little bit, as she also looks to the sky over to where Rudeus is, and there's ominous clouds going on. Okay, something's weird happening. And now we get to see a montage of scenes of people who we don't know yet. We get to see one dude who's got some scales on his face as a dragon tries to attack him. And the dragon's like, hey, yo, what up, bud? And the guy stays completely silent. Aura Farms intimidates, mugs the dragon. And the dragon's like, you know what? You good, fam. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were like that. And he leaves. And the guy said that mana is a gathering. And then we get to see a small demon girl named Kishiru, who is commenting on the gathering mana as well. And in the sky, that flying fortress, Lord Pergius, he's real. And he tells a man called Al-Manfi to investigate the source of mana. So we get back to Rudeus a little bit. He is taking Eris and Ghislaine out to show off the staff and show off his strongest spell. At the moment he casts it, dark clouds appear. And Ghislaine sees it as that's a lot of mana gathering. Al-Manfi steps down and he starts attacking. And Ghislaine fights him off evenly. And then we start to arguing. Al-Manfi calls himself the Radiant, and he's here on orders of Lord Pergius to investigate the thing. And Ghislaine introduces herself as the Sword King and gives all of her credentials And Al Manfi is like, you better not be lying to me. And unfortunately, the orb in the sky pulses, the mana condenses, and creates this large column of light as it spreads. And it looks like Rudeus and Eris and Ghislaine get caught up on it, and the episode ends on a cliffhanger. Banger of an episode, man. My favorite part is the second half, where we get to see what else is going on, because now we get to have conflict outside of Rudeus's own little like bubble within the kingdom that he's in. What's going on in the world? What's the quote unquote trope demon king that we have to kill? Well, it's not a demon king. There's a conflict that everyone is trying to figure out so far. What's happening? What's going on? What is this orb? And it's not just some like one faction that we're dealing with. Everybody's trying to investigate. So it's a big mystery that's going on outside of the story, the small story that we've been telling this whole entire time. And I'm happy that Rudeus is finally getting some interaction into it, because we now get to see that the MC, our party, we're still small. We're still weak. Al Manfi, this dude made a light. He's zipping around and he's on par with Ghislaine. We can't fight Ghislaine. Ghislaine did like some messed up stuff to some simple bandits, and she was on par with Al Manfi. Oh God, there are a lot more people stronger than us. And I like that revelation. I like that reveal. It's amazing. It's cool.
The world expanded so quickly at the end of this episode in a way that I just wasn't prepared for, right? I wasn't prepared to see Perugius ever, right? I didn't even know he was going to have shooters that were going to shoot as hard as his lane, right? And there were like the other two cameos. There was that one little girl from like probably hundreds of thousands of miles away, making binoculars with a single hand over her eye, just skipping over like nothing is happening. Like, aha, it is I, demon god, something. And she was just like, ah. I was just like, who are you? Where did you come from, bro? Who are all y'all? So I am excited for that. I will say, I was definitely the most intrigued by the Greyrat family politics. My current theory at the beginning of the episode, during out this, what's it called? 10th birthday party, I was thinking that maybe everybody at the top, talking Philip, I forgot his wife's name.
Hilda.
And, Hilda and Soros. Maybe they were already trying to take, Rudeus away and sort of use him as a figurehead, right? They know he's insanely talented, they know he's educated, and he's going to hard scale up, right? So if they take him, they would have some advantage between the other three clans or so, right? I don't know. It felt like a really big play, and they were just trying to get him to say like, oh yes, I will be super down to do this with y'all. Even to the point where Philip's like, hey, take my daughter. We can do this. It'll be fine. I was like, whoa.
So I don't think Sorrow and Hilda are in on it. I think it's more on the Philip, because he was the one with the shadow eyes. He was the one with the shadiness. He was the one that brought it up. And you know, he has been like Rudeus' mentor on like how to be a noble and what to do. And they had that little bonding moment in the previous episode. But this is all Philip. Actually, if this whole Greyrat family like drama extends with the conflict into the world, what just happened, there's a lot going on, and I'm excited for everything. And because of what they said, like Paul's brother is scummier than him, I want to see this dude. I want to see who can trounce Paul.
I'm not gonna lie, when I heard that, I was like, there's just no shot. There's just no way that's true.
I was like, how many skeletons does he have?
How many daddies has he fucked across all the continents?
Golly. You know what? Speaking of that, let's address how we feel about all of the pervertedness up to now. Because now that I've realized this in the other reviews that we've done, and it's really coming to a head, that if the source material, the light novel, if that is reflected in the manga and in the anime as true one-to-one stuff, and if both of them take liberties of other things, it's fine. But if it's staying true to the source material, then this is what the author wanted. this is what the author is trying to highlight. Now, I won't lie, I didn't come up with some of this on my own because, as you watch and talk about things, Google listens. And sometimes you start to see things that are related to what you're talking about. And I have seen other level-headed sentiments about what's going on, is that if we think about it in such a way to where a lot of fantasy is like inspired from medieval stuff, and if we're thinking about this in this is its own setting and it's its own world and it has its own rules, and we can't really project our own rules into the fantasy world because then it won't make sense. So if children that are below their adult age, which is 15 in this world, are able to do their thing and procreate and do whatever and marry, then that's the rules of the world. That's the laws of the land. And we have to reorient our thinking to be that way. So for the first 5 years, they're still a child. From 5 to 10, we can, age 0 to 5, they're like kids. From 5 to 10, they are like within elementary to middle school. And from 10 to 15, they're in their teens and the late teens. And then 15 on, they're like adults. They're like 21 and up. So if you take that framing, you're kind of all right at this point. And if that's okay, then everything that's going on makes sense. I mean, I think, yeah, JD, you made the joke about this while we weren't recording, that while Paul was like shagging Lilia and Ghislaine, that's probably the only thing that there is to do if there's nothing else to do. And I'm like, I shrugged it off as a joke. I was like, you know what? That's probably it, Maybe that's Paul's thing. Maybe he's just that, that's his character trait. Maybe just he is how he is. And if we know that somebody is scummier than Paul, what else can we do? If we know that Saros shagged one of the Beast Girl mages, that's more than likely now more evidence that, hey, this is what the Greyrat family does. They're just horny people, for lack of a better explanation. Like even Philip, when him and Rudeus were having that one-on-one meeting with each other about learning the Beast God tongue, and Philip was like getting excited. I was like, yeah. And he was getting all excited with Beast Girls. And I was like, you know what? This has to be okay. In this setting, in this time, it's okay. If you're still like disagreeing, that's okay. I can't change your thinking. Yes, it is weird that guy in his mid-30s is in the body of a child and he's doing these perverted things to a kid. It's terrible. It's bad. I can't ignore that fact. But in the world, in the setting of what it is, it's probably okay.
No, definitely. That's a setting feature. It's just something we just gotta like be okay with existing. Or not be okay with, just accept that it exists. I will say Rudeus got extremely lucky being born into the Greyrat family.
He sure did.
With this mindset.
And I don't want to bring this up, but I think this is like a video topic for another hand. But my original theory that I had, trying to wrap my head around it, was I feel like it's probably not true, but in some isekais, whenever the main character is brought into another world, I feel like the world that they go to is a world to where they have the advantage, or they are able to succeed in, because that world is tailored to their liking to a T.
Ooh, that's actually, I can't really think. Okay, I will say I haven't watched a lot of isekais, but I will say what you're saying does really fit.
Yeah.
It's either like the system has existed for long enough that everybody has gotten used to it and they know the tricks, or they like come back and have like pre-game knowledge, right? Stuff like that. It definitely does feel like all these protagonists have like an innate advantage that they have going in.
Yeah, so for any of the isekai fans that are watching this, and you've made it this far, comment down below, like, your comments. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I feel like that's a big video topic and that requires a lot of research. But for right now, for what confirmation bias that I have now, Mushoku Tensei, and for what Rudeus did in his old life, matches up well for what he's able to do now in this world. He's able to do everything that he is, and nobody can shame him for it. And he's cool for that. He has a second chance at things. He gets to do the things that he wasn't able to do. He's able to be the top dog in his world and feel good about himself and learn to be a better person. Is there going to be conflict that's going to challenge him? Yes. But at the same time, this world is to his liking and it's going to help him. Thinking of another isekai off the top of my head that may help with this. I think oh god, I can't remember the name, but it's the isekai to where the assassin gets isekai to another world and becomes like a top assassin there. And while it may not seem like the world is tailored to him, he's able to like use all of his assassination skills very exceptionally and go on into the world. My favorite anime isekai forever, No Game No Life. Perfect example of two gamers that are really top class in their own world and are looking for a different challenge. They're trying to do better things. Once the god of the other world comes in, challenge them to a chess game, and they win, they get transported into another world that is all about games. It's all about intrigue and nonsense. They get in, they bring the human race up into the upper echelons, and they're going on, they're challenging different things, and they're having fun, and they're excited. That world is tailored, made for them, and they're exceeding and they're having fun. And the god of the world is like, hey, I'm glad you're having fun. I'm waiting for you at the top. And they are looking forward to challenging the god of the world. That is almost like a match made in heaven for that. So there are examples. Hopefully y'all can help me with that as well. And if y'all want to see something like that, I'll try and do some research on it. But yeah, that's all I want to say on that.
No, dude, it's such a cool topic. Quick sidebar on No Game No Life. Dear God, please, season 2. I don't know who's gonna do it. I don't know who I have to ask, who I gotta pray to. Please, bro, I'll give anything.
Bro, I'm already a skeleton on that, man. I am. Honestly, at this point, I'm a doomer. We're not gonna get a second season. But by God, when I get a second season, I'm gonna reform all the skin on my skeleton. I'll be shouting at the top of my lungs. I'm gonna be annoying.
Exactly, dude.
Alright. What else? Episode 8 did for you? We got way off track on that. Sorry.
Oh dear. Let's see. We covered the politics. We covered all like the new characters. I will say the thing that impressed me the most about episode 8, just the pure ambiguity of the ending. Like, we know there's other episodes after this, but as far as we've seen Ghislaine and Rudeus and Eris all get swallowed up by that Nova explosion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the idea is you can drop literally anything after that, literally anything to start off your next episode, and it'll work, right? But it still doesn't stop me from worrying about what happened to my 3 favorites.
Yeah. It's, you know what? On that, it's also a good way for us to get away from the kingdom. Like, we're now actually going somewhere new, possibly, after this. Or if they do survive, I mean, we'll now have a reason to investigate what just happened. We have a new goal. We have a new objective.
What do you think's on the other side of that explosion? Like, even if they don't go anywhere, there's no way they're dead. I guess is what I'm getting to. But
yeah,
what happens after this, you think?
So typically, it could be the fact that at the last minute somebody comes in, puts up a dome to save them, and then we get a new character. It probably might be the dragon guy, who really knows, because we know our Manfi just like dipped after that. It could be one of those, hey, it's a bit calm and light, but hey, it's actually, you get transported somewhere else randomly, and now you got to figure out your way to get back. That's another common thing. It could also be that, oh my God, you died, and he meets the god of the world. He's like, okay, I'm gonna turn back time for you so you can figure out what to do. That third one's bad, but we'll see what happens.
No, I completely get it. About the orb. It sort of looks like Saturn, but with 2 rings going around it. I guess it looks more like an atom with Saturn's rings. Do you have any theories on what that might be? My current one is that maybe it's like a manifestation of whatever god controls this isekai situation. That, or like some sort of oversized camera. I know it doesn't look like a camera, but those are my 2.
Gotcha. So from what all the NPCs have said, it says like it's a bunch of mana that's been gathering, and Lord Pergius also made a comment of saying like, "Oh, is this like a like a big summoning magic? Is somebody trying to make the Laplace come back?" Something like that. Oh, if it is summoning magic, oh, then that means that all three of them are kind of okay, and they'll probably be summoned somewhere else, maybe in like another place or whatever. But though the hints are there, it's just a matter of which one's true.
No, definitely.
But with that, man, I got nothing else for this episode. Well, Aisha and Norn, I wonder when they'll come into play, because Rudeus has to come back to see his family, and I don't know how he'll react to Aisha and Norn.
Well, no, they're practically different people than when they were born. Of course, right? But
Ooh, you know what? Oh god, I am pretty sure Aisha. I call her Aisha. It's Aisha. Aisha and Norn. They don't know. They really don't know Paul. They probably don't know, and Aisha probably doesn't know how she was. He probably doesn't know that Paul is her actual father. And when that revelation's come to, I wonder how she's going to react.
I think I don't think anybody's gonna hide the fact that Paul was a cheater. Like those two are like, I'm sure they know they're sisters, probably, and that Paul is the father, right?
Well, I'm pretty sure Norn knows for sure, hey, Paul's my father. I don't know about Aisha.
Oh God.
Yeah. And also Aisha is going to be Rudeus's maid for life, as per what Lilia said. So there's a lot going on in that whole little thing. Foreshadowing.
No. No.
Okay, but for real, that's truly all that I got.
Yeah, I'm all good on my side too. Banger episode, yeah.
Indeed. So with that, I turn it to y'all in the comments below, and the viewers and the listeners. I hope you had a swell time listening to us talking and commenting on things. If you guys anything you want to say as well, put it down in the comments below. I will respond back when I have time and all that other fun stuff. But with that being said, I hope all of you have a good day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. And I hope your day is just a little bit better than it already is. With that, we'll catch y'all in the next episode. Peace.
See y'all later.